All right? It doesn't hold that time so at all. So if you do that, you're going to find that sometimes you eat and the food is not digesting. It's not digesting. All right? So be careful of oh, you're just, oh, you know, from my picnic, I like to eat shrimp. Oh, you know, say from me growing up and me in high school, from me taste, what should I put it now? Ice cream. And from that then, oh, I have to have my ice cream every Saturday night. Okay. Not understanding that because the milk is there, milk is not easily digested by elderlies. Don't follow them that when you get older, you need your milk because it's good for your bones. If you notice those countries that tend to give their elderlies milk as they get older, that they have more hip fractures. Check it out. I can tell you because I studied that. Okay. Sometimes you're having adrenal fatigue and this affects. Yes, Melvin? All right. Alcohol consumption, and please don't believe because you're Adventist, you don't have alcohol consumptions. Some of us, we use it in the food, in the kind of things that we are taking in. So if we are taking, we have vanilla, and that has alcohol. We have some of the things that we use to make our cakes. We have cough syrups, a number of things have alcohol in it, okay? And we use them. Sometimes if you have a bacterial infection, it can cause your low stomach acidity. Stress, I think this is the worst one. Stress will cause your stomach to have low acid. All right. I hope a lady who I spoke with today that she's here this evening. I told her this morning that sis, if you the stress, she want to know what can I take? What do you have I can take for my stomach? But as I listened to her, today, I said, but it seems as if you're stressed. She said, I don't think so. I said, okay. And we started talking and asking some questions. And in doing that, she was under high stress, really stressed out, and she never know. Okay. So that is causing the stomach acid to be low. And because it is low, it cannot digest your meal properly.
Dr. Lamle, you had a query about the 100 people. Anybody who can't join, they can join Spalding SDA YouTube. It's been on the YouTube, Spalding SDA YouTube channel.
All right, Michelle, you're on. You can place that in the chat for me, please, in case they can't get on. All right.
Okay, Doc.
Yeah, medication side effects can also cause a low acidity in the stomach. All right.
Dr. Lamle, remember we have a lot of non-Adventists here on tonight. So it's not just Adventists.
Okay. Okay. So I need to address that part also. So being right. So some things we have taken for granted that as Adventists we know. All right. So sometimes persons use like alcohol in its natural form, and that will cause your stomach acid not to be adequately flourishing in your stomach to digest your meals. All right. Why is this important? Because if you don't have enough stomach acid, then you're going to find this sense of bloatedness because proteins cannot be broken down into amino acids. Remember I said if you are taking a protein diet, then it has to stay in your stomach a longer time than if you have a more plant-based diet. All right. Food sits too long in the stomach and it putrefies instead of being properly digested. What are some of the reasons it can stay long in your stomach? If you eat in between your meals or drink even water between your meal, too close to your meal, or you eat and drink, okay? So it can sit. Another thing that can cause this to happen, if you mix up your fruits and your vegetables, the enzymes that are used to digest vegetables, they are different from those that are used to digest fruits. All right. So if you're mixing these two together, they are going to spoil, they are going to rot inside of you, and it's going to affect your digestive process. They can't break down adequately because the stomach acid would be low. All right. Another thing that can happen to us if we have low stomach acid is that we have bad breath. Why would we have bad breath? No, some breath student tell me, why would we have bad breath? Anybody?
The food is purifying in the stomach.
There, it is? Right. Yeah. Right. Because the food is spoiling there, sitting down there, can't be properly digested. Then bad breath is the result of it. And 90%, someone asked the question, so let me answer. 90% of your health is in your gut. Your immune system sits right in there. Okay? Sometimes it's lack of nutrients. Lack of nutrients, well, not lack of nutrients will happen when you have low stomach acid, or you end up with lack of nutrients because the food cannot be properly digested. So the nutrients cannot be extracted from it. And what this will lead to? Depression, hair loss, brittle nails. No, even as I mentioned it, automatically my eyes go to my nails. If you are having brittle nails, don't take it for granted. It can be saying to you that you're nutritionally deficient. If your hair is falling out, because your hair, skin, and nails, they are the mirror or the looking glass to the state of your health. Another thing that can happen to you is that you can become anemic. All right. So these are some of the consequences. Okay. And then now, because the stomach acid is low again, remember we mentioned about the bacteria. Yes, the bacteria would not be able to be killed by the hydrochloric acid because it's so low. All right. And you end up with some of these leaky gut situation that we mentioned. And another thing, please don't take for granted you'll find yourself with allergies and acne and arthritis, pain and all of that. It could have been because the stomach is not digesting food very well. This is one of the things that amazed me more than anything else. Or we can sit down with a person for a few hours and look, set out a plan, a health plan for them. Say, all right, this is your breakfast time. Eat between, say, 7 and 8 o'clock. Take that time for your meal time. Let's look at what you're going to be eating. So you can jot this down, take your notes as we go along. So it is breakfast time. Try as best as possible to have some kind of raw food, or if you want to call it live food, before you eat your cooked meals. Why? Because it is in your live food that you're going to find enzymes, digestive enzymes. It is in your stomach, but the raw food that you take will stimulate the stomach to release, right, these enzymes. As a matter of fact, it starts from in your mouth, go down to your stomach, but most of it lies in your stomach, right? So try as much as possible. Anything in season. Say you're having a fruit meal. And by fruit meal, I mean that it's not vegetable as your main part of your meal. So if it is fruit meal, say you're having some ackee and some boiled bananas and some plantain and some oats dumpling. Yeah. Before that, eat some fruits. Whatever your system can hold can take as a fruit. Now it's guinea time, enjoy it. I think this is the best tasting guinea I've ever tasted in my life. This season, something nice about it. All right. So you have some guinea. And when you're eating, please don't eat one and two and say, I have some raw food. No, try to eat as much live food as you possibly can get in your system. It might curtail the amount of the cooked meal that you are taking, but to God be the glory. So if you can, and don't take a wide variety of raw food, fruits in the one meal. So don't take some guineas and a piece of pineapple and a ripe banana and some grapes or 2 mangoes. Don't mix it. It's best for you to have 1 or 2 kinds in your meal. What we are trying to achieve is a more simplified diet. It must be simple but effective. All right. So don't overdo on the amount. Say, oh, I love fruit. So you have 3 and 4 and 5 different kinds. Fruits come in families, basically. So if you have some ripe bananas and plantain, that's one kind. If you have orange, tangerine, grapefruit, and what else? And mandarin, that thing, that is just one kind. All right? And try not to have your sweet fruits with your tangy fruits at the same time. So like orange, that are the citrus fruit that tend to be more on the tangy side. Don't go and have it with some ripe bananas and some mangoes and that are more on the sweeter side, and where the acid content would have been higher. All right? Just think about it. Just think about it. Don't move from one extreme to another, because that will cause fermentation in your stomach. All right. As I said, I'm trying to get through some of these. All right. Let me pass through. All right. Okay. Let's go right here then. All right, start from this one. The stomach taking the food, and we're talking about the food that come from your mouth, then churns it and breaks it into tiny particles called chyme. This is done to mix the gastric juice with the food, and you want that to happen. Why? Because you want the gastric juice to further break down the food, right? After an hour or two, the chyme is then released in small batches. I need you to see this. You see what the amount it lets? The body, don't think you just drop things into your stomach and you then drop things out of your stomach. No, it takes time. And that's why we said, look at it. It takes about 2 hours on average for this chyme, right, to be ready to go into the small intestine. All right, starting at the duodenum, the top part of it, about 2 hours. And that is the reason, I love persons know the reason for things. That is the reason that we say don't drink water until after 2 hours. Is it making sense now? Because by then, the food would have been turned into chyme, broken down, passing on its merry, merry way, emptying the stomach, right? And you can now take water because there's no breaking down of food going on again. All right? He said, this continues for about 4 hours. Now, you understand why we say give your food take digestion about 4 hours, and you must not put anything in the stomach while this is going on? Because once you do that, all of this nice process that you see going on here would have to stop, so that you can break down the food that you just put in there. This was already broken down and it is ready to be emptied. But because you went ahead and put more things in your system, it can't do it again. It has to stop. It has to stop. So it sit down inside of you and it starts rotting out. Dr. Chung, I don't know another nice way to say that one. All right?
I understand you, sis.
It starts rotting. Let me use the word rotting because I think you can understand it better. That Migo says it's putrefaction takes place and tell you something that you might not know.
There's a question. You mentioned having the fruit before your meal. Can you take your raw vegetables before the meal also?
Yes. Yeah, right. So if you're having, I should have mentioned that part. So if it is a vegetable meal that you're having, then try to get some raw vegetables to start with. No, the thing with vegetables, and this is something that most persons don't know, is that the cell walls of vegetables, they are hard. And therefore, it's very hard for us to digest it without heat being applied to it. Sometimes person said, I don't want to cook the vegetable because when I cook it, it's losing its nutrients. No, the vegetables tend to be high in the fat soluble vitamins, and they're high in minerals. Minerals are not lost through heat. And the fat soluble vitamins, they're not easily lost either. It is water soluble vitamins that you will lose easily. All right. So if you put it on very low flame, and then you will allow it to slow cook. All right, until tender, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, depends on which of the vegetable. Then you are locking in the nutrients, and you don't take it off and continue turn it, because you're going to find that some of the nutrients will go to the pot cover, but it will drop right back in your pot. All right, the raw food that I like to take before. All right, so I'm giving you the things as I go along so that you can take note. I like lettuce, mainly because lettuce is so very high. It's about 90% water, all right, and 10% nutrients. But those nutrients that are in there, they are dense. So that is good. Especially if you can get like the romaine lettuce, that's good. And I will use that. And I like sprouts. So whatever sprouts I can find, be it lentils or beans or whatever sprouts, I like the sprouts. So wash that, put that with it. And I like red onions. So I put some red onions with that. And last but not least, I like olives. So I put some olives with that. Okay. And therefore you end up with a nice, beautiful salad. For those who are strong in constituents, they can put maybe grate a peg of garlic with that. All right. And you can have that. And you can make a little dressing and put on it. And you can have that as long as it is raw dressing. Don't do any of the artificial thing that they give you. All right. And then you have your cooked steamed vegetables and the rest of your meal. Okay. But I want you to understand when, there's a quote that I love. It says that the only hope for a better thing is in the education of the people in right principles. I learned that quote a long time ago, and I really love it. Okay. So learn the thing, understand what is happening, why you need to do things as a certain way. You know something that happened, Dr. Chung, a few weeks ago, I think I told you, went to the police to work with them and to help them because they are so sick. Honestly, they have high blood pressure and diabetes and all kind of things. So they call us in to help them, our ministry, Complete Healing. And we have now partnered with them to help them, in the force, and also their outside program that they do, because they have community safety and something else it is called. And in us talking and showing them when they take a bottle drink, the amount of sugar that goes into the system. It was so heartwarming to hear some of them say, you know what? I am going to make better choices. I'm going to change. I'm going to learn not to eat and drink again. I'm going to learn to put aside the juices and take water instead. It was really heartwarming. And this is something that we can do. The little changes that you make, you'd be amazed to see the big result that you can get. All right. So it said this continues for about 4 hours. At that time, do not put anything in the system. All right. And that is why I said leave at least 5 or 6 hours should elapse between meals. And most persons who give the plan a trial will find that 2 meals a day are better than 3. Okay. All right. What are some of the things now you can do to maintain your good bowel health? What are some of the things? And I think this is about where we are going to be stopping. I'm going to cut through and give you the formula for something. So maintaining good bowel health involves a combination of lifestyle choices, your diet. It must be rich in fiber, and you're using up your fruits and your vegetables, because these are very good ways of ensuring that you're getting high fiber, right? Staying hydrated is very important, so use up your water, okay? Exercise, regular physical activity can help to stimulate your bowel movement. I know persons, when we introduce them to exercise, to go walking, and they could not say freely go out before, but after doing this, they come back and straight to the toilet. So I said, take some warm water in the morning before you go to walk. And then when they come back, straight to the persons who used to have such great issues before. All right. Stress management is also important. Manage your stress and manage it well. Very important. Because it's going to negatively impact your digestion. So do something about stress. Don't say, oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm this. No, get involved in something. I remember I had a client, and she was going through high stress, and it had led up to depression. And when she came to see me, she was talking about this and that, and she was mentioning all the stressful things. And because she was a lady of means, I said to her, I want you to do something for me. Go to the hospital and speak with a nurse or the matron or whoever in charge, and ask if there's anybody in this hospital where nobody's visiting that person. Find out and go and visit. Take care of the person's need. Read the Bible. Pray. Make friends with this person. All right? And they show her somebody who was there for a long time and will be in the hospital for a while. And she took over this person. She bought the basins and the rugs, and they buy little things, and she'll go and read. When she came back and saw me, which was about 2 weeks or somewhere there later, this lady was a different human being, completely different, so transformed. Why? What had happened? She moved the attention from off herself. Most time when we plunge into depression, and I will talk more about these things when we do mental health on Thursday, it is because the attention is on us and what is happening with us or had happened to us. So we have to find ways of managing the stress, and we will talk about it. When you're dealing with having a good gut health, you have to look at taking a good probiotics. This is really essential, all right, for balancing of your health. Get a good probiotics. There are some that we use at Maranatha, all right? Another thing, don't drink any cold water with your meal. Don't drink cold water, as a matter of fact. Your food should not be washed down. Taken with meals, water diminishes the flow of saliva. The colder the water, the greater the injury to where? To your stomach. Ice water or ice lemonade taken with meals will arrest digestion until the system has imparted sufficient warmth to the stomach to enable it to take up its work again. Masticate, sir. What is masticate? Chew slowly and allow the saliva to mingle with the food. All right? Okay. What can delay the food from leaving your stomach? Eating in between meals, eating too close together, overeating, irregularity, drinking, and eating at the same time. All right. I want to stop with this quote that God has blessed us with. It said in 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33, God is not the author of confusion. And if we put things in our system with too many mix-up, that is confusion, and it is not of God. So it is the enemy that's confusing the stomach so that he can confuse the brain. And because it is the brain that God speaks through us, when it is confused, well, let me say through the mind, which sits in the brain, right? When we are confused, we cannot communicate well with God. In 1 Corinthians 14, verse 40, it reminded us that let all things be done decently and in order, because God is a God of order. In Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1, it said, to everything there is a season. Remember, we look at in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 10, verse 17, there is that the son of nobles eat in season, and there's a time for every purpose under the sun. All right? I'm not going to get over into the mind. As I said, we will look at that on another time. All right, I think we can pause there and I can take some of your questions if you have any.
One question that is frequently asked, two questions. How do you deal with the leaky gut and how do you deal with the acid reflux? When you can feel the acid continually coming up into the esophagus, into the back of your throat, and it's burning. Those two things, the leaky gut and the acid reflux.
So for leaky gut, with that one, you have to spend some time with a person. You know, you have to sit with them, do an assessment with them, right? With the person and find out, see what they are doing. Because remember, you know, health, I learned this definition this weekend at the church I went to. I was doing a presentation and, you know, in my slide, there was something so beautiful. It said, health is the result of obedience to law. All right? And that come in temperance. It said, health is the obedience, is the result of obedience to law. So what we'll have to do, look at which of the laws is this person breaking? Which of them? You'd have to look now and see what need to be taken care of. Because you have to nip the thing in the bud and then you mop up after that. One of the best things that we use most of the, well, two things. We look at probiotics with trans and betaine, those combinations for helping with the leaky gut. All right, we do that. And then you take away things that are irritable to your system. So like wheat products, bread, bun, cake, flour, that we take that out from the diet. We take out ripe bananas. All right. And we look anything that would prove like an irritant to the system. We'll remove that. All right, and look at any other habit that the person might have because there are things that triggers your sinus. And if it triggers your sinus, it's also going to trigger a response in your body also. All right, so don't think of the sinus just being in your face and the rest of you stay. No, the human body is holistic. All right, it works together. Where the acid is in the stomach, I tell you this, I did this with a young lady. I think hers was the worst I've seen. I told her, you know what? Stop eating. Just stop. Because everything she had was coming right up. I said, listen, just take some coconut water. I check your sugar, monitor your sugar level to see what is going on. And if you find that it is falling, then take the meat from the jelly and eat that. All right. And I said, for 3 days, leave food alone. Just leave it. Let the body get some time to rest and digest what is there to heal itself. And you know, she said, but I'm going to die. Oh, can anybody not eat for 3 days? I said, okay, go through it. Just drink water and let coconut water be your meal. So for 3 times for the day, do the coconut water. You know, she told me that day 2 was her worst day. She thought she was going to die, but because of the pain she had been having with her stomach, she decided, you know what, I am going to do it. So she went through. And on day 3, she was able, Valvoline, mute. On day 3, she was able to go through. You see, when I saw it, she said, listen, oh my goodness, it is rested. The pain and all of that was just gone. This was my radical way of doing it when persons are hurting just too much. Because when that stomach is inflamed, indeed a break. You know what it reminds me of, Dr. Chung, is this. When we were small, we used to go to school and most of us didn't wear any shoes. And we used to stomp out, well, you have one pair and you wear it to school with your one pair. So when you're home, you can't wear shoes. You're barefooted. And we tend to stomp our big toe a lot. And the more you stomp that toe, it is the harder it is for it to get better. But when you take care of it and turn it up some and walk gingerly and go through and you don't hurt it up, what happened to it? You get better quicker. So it's the same with the stomach. The more you put things into it, it's the more you are irritating that stomach, and it is the harder it is to get better. So if you have that strength of will, and you can say, you know what, let me just ease off from eating and just take your coconut water because it is rich in electrolytes. All right? Very rich in electrolytes, and it nourishes the body well. And you can do that. It is the best way to get rid of this condition. All right? If you can't handle all of that, if it's severe, that's the best way. If it is milder, then try 2 meals. Be very strict with your 2 meals. Set your time and keep your time. And then I want to give you a formula that I use that has worked amazingly from the hands of the Lord. All right? That was a question, Doc?
So you have given us that formula, sis?
So let me give it to you now. All right?
All right, but just one more question before somebody's asking, what are the prebiotics and probiotics that we can use that are natural?
All right. Probiotics by nature, they are natural because they are life cultured food. What I do, we have they're called betaine and the trends that is the one that we have at Maranatha. I use that one, and I don't know if any of my girls are here. They can, well, they wouldn't have it, no. They wouldn't have a bottle of it. I'm trying to give me a minute. Let me look on it for you. All right. All right, so the one that we have worked it and find it so very effective is called Nutriven. All right, Nutriven. And anybody is interested in it, they can always contact us. And we have the trienzyme is a digestive enzyme. And this is when you're having digestive intolerances. And it's called made by Houston enzymes. So we use that, and we use the biocode. So anyone interested in that, they can always just contact us and we can help them with that. All right. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Michelle. All right. So that is the one we use here mainly for that, because we see a lot of that condition. Okay, and someone was asking, Doc, can you take the vegetables instead of food before the meal? Yes, you can do that, as long as it's a vegetable meal. If it is a fruit meal, then don't take the vegetable, okay? All right, so let me go to the formula. You're going to be 3 ingredients you're going to be using: activated charcoal, aloe vera gel, and we are talking about the white gel, not the green part, the white gel. You're going to be taking that, and you're going to be using some olive oil. So method, you're going to be taking 3 plastic spoons. Let it be plastic because activated charcoal will become deactivated if you use metal with it. So you take 3 plastic spoons of activated charcoal. And then for the aloe vera gel, you're going to cut it, wash it off, peel it off, wash it again because you don't want any of the green part. The green part is very irritating to the stomach. And then you slice it in 2 and scrape off that white gel. You're trying to see if you can get 3 tablespoons out of it. All right? You need 3 tablespoons of the white gel. And then you're going to be putting 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Make sure it is good olive oil, extra virgin, cold press olive oil. All right. And you can take those, mix those together. You have to whisk it nicely because everybody independent of each other and want to have their own way. So you have to whisk it nicely to get it mixed well. And then you are going to take that at bedtime for 3 nights. All right, empty stomach in the night, take it 3 nights. And I've never seen that thing not work. All right, it does work and work excellently.
And so that is for the acid reflux.
That's for any form of it's acid reflux, GERD, any kind of digestive disorder that might be there. Yes, that is really helpful.
Repeat, please.
All right, so it's 3 tablespoons of the aloe vera gel, 3 teaspoons, which is the white plastic spoon of the activated charcoal, and 2 tablespoons of the olive oil. All right. All right, that was my last question.
Not sure if anybody else has any question.
I have a question, please.
Is there anything wrong in taking baking soda?
Oh, that is going to, and that's going to
And I see the formula put right here, that your formula is nicely put here into the chat by one of your team members.
Yes, beautiful. So Michelle is typing it up for us right there. All right. Baking powder and baking soda. All right. I know sometimes you see that some person said it can be taken, but my best advice, and I'll say this, what I find is that sometimes something work for some things, but it cause effect at another place. And there are 2 books that I would take that information from, and that would have been Counsels on Diet and Food and Ministry of Healing. And it said that we should not be putting baking soda in our system and baking powder because they are irritating to the digestive system. Okay? So I will use baking soda externally, but do not put it internally. And it's not a need for us to be using that.
Another question here, the formula, must it be made fresh daily or?
Yes, because that what you're getting is just a dosage. I'd rather that you do that than make it and put it down. Want you to take it, make it when you're going to be using it. All right? Because you'd have to go and make and try to make enough, mixing that and that. No, just make it for the evening. The live enzymes will work even more effectively. All right.
Thank you so much. I realize that I don't see any more questions in the chat. I'm going to check the YouTube and see if there are any questions over there.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, for those who take supplements, and the instruction is usually take with the meal.
If you're taking supplements and it's
Remember those who take medication as well, and it's a take with meal.
Yeah, but with that, most time you only need a mouthful of water, and a mouthful will not dilute your digestive juices. Some things and some supplements they tell you take a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons. That's not enough to dilute your digestive juices.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. All right. Someone had asked about what about ripe banana in the morning? You can use ripe bananas. Can take your, as long as you don't have a problem with ripe banana itself, you can use it as a fruit in the morning.
And how long after our last meal can we take that reflux medication?
The night before you go to bed.
Yes, but how long after your last meal? To be like 4 or 5 hours after your last meal.
Right, because remember, digestion is going to take at least 4 hours in your for your stomach. Empty your stomach. So you need to give it at least 4 hours. Because what you're putting now is not food. You don't have to worry about the digestion of it, because activated charcoal is not digested by the human body. All right, it draws things onto itself. So make sure there is at least 4 hours between.
Will this formula also assist with bowel movement? If not, what can be used to help with your bowel movement? You mentioned one thing, exercise. Drinking warm water in the morning.
Yes.
And exercising, you're already getting help with your bowel movements. So what else could we use to help with our bowel movement?
And look, if maybe the person is deficient in magnesium. So in that case, they could try magnesium citrate.
And you mentioned one important thing: get your magnesium from your green vegetables.
From your right. So bulk up in your with your
fiber.
Yes, because you're getting the fiber, not only the magnesium, but you can't go wrong with food, honestly. If you want to use food as your medicine, you cannot go wrong. It's just that sometimes the body might be at such a low ebb that you have to get something to help to bring it up and then sustain yourself on the natural food. All right? Okay, so
You can get the magnesium citrate from the health food store. They sell that there.
well, thank
Where
you.
can you get the charcoal?
Most persons are in your side of the world. I should take it. So if they come to Mandeville, right at Maranatha Health Food Store, they will get any of the things that we have spoken about.
And Maranatha Health Food Store is in Caledonia Mall.
Yes.
Upstairs Island Radiology.
Yes.
And you can get activated charcoal there. I see it in some pharmacies also.
Yeah. And make sure that don't just buy, make sure you don't just buy charcoal. Make sure that it is activated charcoal, and not all things are created equal. All right. Sometimes you use it. One set of persons came here this evening and they were saying that no, they buy charcoal sometimes and it's not the same thing. So make sure it is activated charcoal that you are using, because that is the one that is most effective. All right. I can only vouch for the one that we sell. That's the only one. That's the one I know. But if you can get a good one, then go ahead and use it. All right. Okay. So
Dr. Chung, with your permission, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to say thank you very much for the very, very, very 3V informative delivery of good gut information. As I listened to you once or twice in our church, Spalding, I spoke very briefly on the MMC, the migrating motor complex, which primarily allows the gut to heal. Because when one eats a meal and that meal is digested, there's a certain amount of microorganism that primarily passes through the gut. And if we break that period there, we will disturb the migrating motor complex, and we will stop those bacteria that need to be eliminated from the alimentary tract to take full effect. So what you have said, it is in conjunction with that, because when we eat, we should not just go back and eat in between, because that will affect the migrating motor complex. And one of the best ways to maintain it is fasting as well. I just want to say thank you for what you have delivered. And I am the one who asked the question, what percentage of our immune system is in the gut? And also,
yeah.
I asked another question about the small intestine bacterial overgrowth, which sometimes affect our gut health. So I was looking to hear a little on that, but it is presented in another way. And I said, God bless you. And I will come to Maranatha to get some of your product. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you, my brother. I appreciate it. All right. All right. I think
So
that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Lamle, for presenting to us with such clarity and such precision. And we are all blessed to have heard you tonight. And I'm sure that there's nobody here who didn't learn something new tonight and something that we can implement into our lives to make our health better. Because as we know, if we cannot absorb our nutrients, we cannot have a healthy body, a healthy mind. We can't worship God properly. And these insights were truly, truly wonderful, Dr. Lamle.
Praise the Lord.
Would like to implore everybody to share our YouTube link. We're going to put it into the groups. It's right here in the chat. So we can always access this information at a later date on the Spalding Sda YouTube channel. And I would like to thank each and everybody who turned out this evening. We had a wonderful turnout. And I would like you to share this information with somebody because we can all benefit from good health. And as Dr. Lamle pointed out several times tonight, if your body is not healthy, your mind will not be healthy, and your relationship with God will be impaired also. So at this time, I'd just like to close with prayer. Our Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your word. Thank you so much for the things that you have put onto earth to heal us, Father. We are indeed grateful for the wisdom and the insights shared with us tonight. And as we leave from here, we ask you to continue to be with us through the night, continue to give us guidance and protection, and bless the ministry of the healing team as they go out and bless others. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Thank everybody for joining, and join us again on Thursday night at 7 p.m. as we again explore another topic, and that time we'll be delving into mental health, and Dr. Lamle will again be our presenter. Brother Chad, you had placed the YouTube link in the group. We're going to ask you to do it again for us so that everybody can have access to this wonderful information. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Dr. Cho.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.